Have you ever wondered why Victoria 2 starts in 1836? I did too, and so today you're going to find out why Paradox chose this date for Victoria 2. But first, 70% of you who watch our videos aren't subscribed. Since there's more Victoria 2 content coming to this channel, why not consider subscribing? So when Paradox was deciding on a start date for Victoria 2, they had to consider a number of factors. The first factor is quite an obvious reason, and it is that the game roughly needs to align with the reign of Queen Victoria, who was the monarch of the United Kingdom from 1837 to 1901. She defined a period of time and oversaw Britain becoming the first global industrial superpower. Britain's Industrial Revolution saw the country produce a large amount of textiles and coal, with many innovations happening in the 19th century. Given how the game was designed, in terms of warfare, diplomacy, and the economy, the game only really makes sense after the Napoleonic era, since the attention of the world goes from France to Britain, creating a different balance of power within the world. And also, Queen Victoria was born in 1819. Another factor Paradox had to consider is that one of their games at the time, Europa Universalis 3, ended in 1821 with the Napoleon Ambition DLC, and therefore Paradox didn't want EU3 and Victoria 2 to overlap. So taking everything into account, the dates that could have been chosen are roughly between 1822 and 1837. So why have Paradox chosen the start date of 1836, especially considering that Victoria wasn't even queen at this point? Well, in my opinion, there's one major reason for putting the start date a year back from Queen Victoria's coronation, and that is the Texas Revolt. At the start of the game, Texas is at war with Mexico in their fight for independence, and despite the odds stacked against it, they were able to win it. Considering a large amount of Victoria 2 players are from the United States, this could certainly appeal to them, and make the start date more interesting for an American audience, since they are able to play as Texas. Given that the Texas Revolt ended in April 1836, you exclude the Texan War of Independence if you start a year later in 1837. So that's the main reason for the start date, but is there any other start dates to consider? Well, another potential start date is in 1821, so therefore Victoria 2 starts exactly when EU4 ends. However, you could potentially argue that it's too close to the Napoleonic era, and that the balance of power is not right for Victoria 2. Perhaps in my opinion, a better starting date would be 1830, since there's a lot going on at this time. For example, in Europe, two big superpowers had an exchange in power, with the British King George IV dying, and the French King Charles X abdicating the throne. Europe also saw two significant independence movements, with Belgium and Greece both fighting for independence at this time. Outside of Europe, there was also the downfall of Gran Colombia, with its eventual demise in 1831. All these events certainly make an 1830 start date interesting, and this start date certainly might be better than 1836. But let me know what you think in the comments, and check out some of my other videos on other Paradox games.